The Fable series weaves an epic tale of heroes and villains across multiple centuries and 3 core games. So as we begin to dream about the prospect of Fable 4, let's first take a step backwards and cram the Fable saga into one video.
Deep in the forest of Albion lay the small town of Oakvale, unchanged by time and untouched by the sword.
The original Fable tells the tale of the hero of Oakvale, who, like any good fantasy hero, has a tragic origin story. In this case, the murder of his father and kidnapping of his mother and sister.
The boy watched as all he knew was taken away. His whole life was crushed to ashes. He was alone.
Thankfully, our hero is saved from a similar fate by Maze, the leader of the Heroes Guild, which is where he takes you to undergo training. A few years later and you've graduated from the guild and are busy doing hero stuff, when Maze appears once more and tells you about a blind seeress in a nearby bandit camp, who apparently knows something about your sister, Teresa. However, to our hero's surprise, the seeress is Teresa.
What's wrong? Don't you recognize your own sister?
After a very brief reunion, she departs, and from here, our hero goes to fight in the arena, a gladiatorial competition run by the infamous Jack of Blades.
She was a fine hero, just as soft-hearted as you. I knew her son would end up here one day. It's in your blood, and in your sister's too. You should bring her to me. I so long to reunite you both with your mother. Just think of the happiness it would bring her.
After achieving victory, things begin to get intense as you learn that your mother was once a famous hero, that your bloodline is the key to getting a magical sword, and that Jack is doing everything in his power to claim it. It was Jack's men who had attacked your village all those years ago, and he has had your mother imprisoned ever since. So of course you go to free her and stop him, but it doesn't go so well.
Come, it isn't polite to leave without saying goodbye.
Bastard!
This child of yours is quite the hero, dear Scarlet. Did you know he's being crowned arena champion? You would have been so proud of him. It must run in the family. That and getting locked up in one of my charming little cells.
It takes an entire year to escape from prison, and by that time Jack is close to getting the sword. However, as you begin to chase him down, you come across your old mentor Maze, and uncover his sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Your sister. I know. I had to tie her up. Jack is controlling her somehow. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to stop him.
He's lying. He's the one working for Jack.
No, she's trying to confuse you.
There is really no time for this, old wizard. Finish the ritual, Maze. I'd like my key now.
It's almost over, and it will be easier with the boy here.
After defeating Maze, you chase Jack across the continent, but he's always one step ahead, and by the time you catch up to him, it's too late.
It's your blood next. Then I will make this world burn.
Your mother is dead, but for your life, your sisters and everyone else in Albion, you fight Jack to the death. But even in victory, you're presented with another choice.
And now comes the choice I spoke of so long ago. Strike me down now with the sword of Aeons, and you will become as powerful as Jack dreamt of being. Cast it into the vortex, and its darkness will be gone forever. So what will you do, little brother?
Depending on your decision here and your choices throughout the game, there are a few possible endings. However, your victory doesn't last that long, as when the publisher re-released the game a year later, they wanted to add some more content, so they brought Jack of Blades back, but this time, he's a dragon. Once again you defeat him, and once again the game gives you a choice, this time between wearing Jack of Blades' mask or not, but either way, this is where the first game ends. Fable 2 picks up the story 500 years later, following an era of relative peace. In those intervening years, new technology has emerged, and once small towns are now grand cities, such as Bowerstone, where this new story begins. You are Sparrow, a young child living on the streets with your big sister Rose, when one day a travelling merchant comes to town selling a small box which he claims will grant any wish, but Rose is far from convinced.
There's no such thing as magic.
We live in grim times indeed, if the young are too world-weary to believe in magic. Most children your age believe eagerly.
Look, I can see your eyes are bad, but I'm telling you, that music box is rubbish.
That's what the seller thinks. He has no idea what he stumbled upon. But you have an inkling, don't you? Some part of you wants to believe it's magic.
What? You really think it could be?
For 5 gold coins, you could have your answer.
That woman is none other than Teresa, your sister in the previous game. Honestly, she's looking pretty healthy for someone over 500 years old. Anyway, you and your sister managed to raise the money to buy the box and use it to wish that you could live in the castle. And although nothing happens immediately, later that evening, a guard arrives at your shack.
What do you want?
I work for Lord Lucian, miss, and he would very much like to see you in his castle. I've been sent to collect you.
Inside the castle, you're introduced to Lord Lucian, and we get that tragic origin story moment.
You're heroes, but you're not any of the 3. One of you is the 4th.
What's happening?
This isn't what I wanted, but nothing must stand in my way.
No, wait! Don't! No!
I can't allow you to live either. I'm sorry.
Death is not your destiny today, little sparrow.
You are a hero. In fact, you are descended from the hero in the first game, and it's your destiny to bring about Lucian's downfall. However, in the time you spent growing up in Teresa's care, Lucian has been busy rebuilding the Tattered Spire, a magical tower that could grant the owner immense power.
The spire was intended as a conduit for all the magic in the world, granting the kingdom's ruler a power so great he could bend reality to his will.
The journey to stop him won't be easy, but you won't be doing it alone. First, you must find 3 heroes to help you, starting with a monk named Hannah, the hero of strength.
Where did you come from? Who are you?
Someone who can tell you much about Lucian, where he is, what his plans are, and how you can gain your revenge, if you will listen.
I want to know everything.
Then come with me, Sister Hannah.
Call me Hammer.
Next is the hero of will, Garth. However, he is far trickier to successfully recruit. When you go to his tower, you witness him being captured by Lucian's men. So to get him back, you have to go undercover as a guard inside of the Tattered Spire. But the mission takes far longer than expected. You spend 10 years there, being forced to do horrific things to maintain your cover, and being almost as much of a prisoner as Garth was.
As years passed, the hero's task seemed ever more impossible. Lucian remained behind the great white light, Garth remained hidden, and others like the Commandant appeared, all as brutal and powerful as the first. And slowly, all thought of freedom or the outside world faded.
Eventually, you both escape and move on to the next target, a pirate named Reaver, who is the hero of skill. He's easy enough to find, but has a task for you to complete.
The item I need returned is just there. See? See that little objet d'art?
Unsurprisingly, this is a trap, but after completing the task anyway, and a little bit of persuasion from Teresa, he agrees to assist you.
Blind, eh?
I would have preferred mute.
Together with your new allies, you go to a site above the old Heroes Guild and perform a ritual, but just as it ends, Lucien arrives.
The last of the heroic blood will flow out onto this hilltop. Pitiful creature. Misguided and weak. The last time I killed you, it tore my heart out. Of course, you were only a child. But then, so was I.
Death is not your destiny today, little sparrow.
You're taken into a dreamlike paradise, where you spend the day as a child again, playing with your sister. However, after nightfall, the dream becomes a nightmare you must force yourself to walk through to return to Albion. Strange otherworldly music plays throughout, and you awaken to find yourself once again in possession of the music box from the start of the game. You go to confront Lucien at the Spire, who is in the process of absorbing the power from your 3 allies. However, using the box, you're able to defeat him.
Oh, I thought it'd never shut up.
Following Lucien's death, our hero goes on to become the ruler of all of Albion, and have 2 children. The first is a boy named Logan, and the second is the player character for Fable 3. At the start of Fable 3, the player character from Fable 2 has died, and their eldest son, Logan, has been crowned king. However, he has become a ruthless and tyrannical leader. The people are suffering, and protests against his rule are currently taking place outside the palace. You play as the younger sibling, and we spend the day enjoying life in the palace. But as we've now established, you definitely need a tragic origin story to become a hero, and in this case it's your brother teaching you about making tough choices, as he forces you to decide who should die, your beloved or the leaders of a protest.
You are the prince. Decide.
Your Majesty, Logan, please.
I am giving you power over life and death.
No, I won't do this.
If you can't choose, I will. They will all be executed.
Later that night, you're rushed out of the castle with the help of your mentor Walter, and together you go to your parents' grave, where he uncovers the Heroes Guild seal.
Is something supposed to happen? Who are you?
I am Teresa, the seer of the Spire. I guided your father in his greatest triumph. But you have an even greater destiny ahead of you.
With Teresa's guidance, you begin the journey to becoming a hero and saving the kingdom. First of all, you need to amass an army of followers with enough power to overthrow your brother, so you begin to form alliances and make promises to the people of Albion. In the process, you make many new friends, such as the soldier Ben Finn, the leader of the Resistance Page, and Sabine, the King of Mistpeak. However, we also see the return of a character from Fable 2, Reaver, and he's just as cunning and manipulative as ever.
Oh, my dear girl, why not stop all this bickering? The 3 of us could go up to my quarters and have a private party.
He had made a fortune in the Industrial Revolution by mistreating his employees and forcing them to work in inhumane conditions.
Anyway, best of luck with this whole revolution lark. Perhaps we'll meet again one day. Tatty-bye!
Eventually, your quest for allies brings you to the nearby country of Aurora. However, upon arriving on their shores, you learn that something called the Crawler has destroyed nearly every civilization in the region, and that your brother knew about it.
He too faced the Crawler. He saw all his soldiers killed by the darkness and nearly died himself. But he survived thanks to our care. He left with a promise that he would return with an army and save us from the Crawler. We never saw him again.
The hero promises to restore and protect Aurora, and in return is given access to their fleet, which has the capacity to challenge Logan's navy. With this new ally, you return to Albion and launch the revolution. The battle was long, difficult and exceedingly violent, but at long last Logan is defeated and you are crowned the new monarch of Albion. As ruler, you will have to make many tough choices, and the first is what to do with your brother. However, during the trial, he makes his case for why he had to act in the way he did.
The day I returned to Albion, I received a visit from a blind seer, Teresa, our father's guide. She showed me the future of this kingdom. The darkness in Aurora is coming here, bringing death, destruction, the end of our way of life. The sacrifices I had to make, I did them to protect Albion. If a few had to suffer, it was to build an army. If a few had to die, it was to save a country. I have spent years preparing for this attack. Let me stand by your side now, and all my soldiers will be yours to command. Let us face the coming darkness, together.
If this is true, if it's really coming here, we are all in grave danger.
Following your decision, you are once again given a vision by Teresa.
The ruler of Albion is all that stands between the world we inhabit and that darkness. That is why you had to take your brother's place. The course of history demands it. If you do not succeed, everything we know will come to an end.
Now you understand why your brother acted in the way he did, but he is no longer king, and now the decisions are yours to make. Keeping your promises and being a benevolent leader will undoubtedly lead to the darkness overwhelming the nation, but breaking those promises, raising taxes, and acting as your brother did will make you no different from him.
Your Majesty, the shelter has long been the only refuge for the homeless, the poor, and the orphaned. And until we can change the whole world for the better, it will continue to be their only hope of survival.
I propose we use this dilapidated building to help both them and ourselves, for love and money have always gone hand in hand.
1 year passes as you make your choices, and the darkness arrives in Albion. Depending on how much gold you raised will determine your army's success or failure. However, either way, you will still be needed to fight, and during the battle, the Crawler arrives and possesses Walter, forcing you to fight and kill your oldest friend and mentor.
We won. We beat it together.
Do you remember the stories I tell you when you were a child? There was a great king once, the mightiest hero of them all. Remember what you would say?
Teach me to be a hero.
You've done me proud, boy. You've always done me proud.
Oh, Walter.
Sometime later, with the darkness defeated and Albion saved, the hero and any of your remaining allies gather to commemorate and honour Walter. And we have one final vision from Teresa.
Perhaps we shall meet again one day, King.
Aren't you going to tell me my future?
The future will reveal itself when it is ready to do so.
That is where Fable 3 and the first 3 core games end, but if we do get Fable 4, where do you think the story will go next? Will we go further into the future and see more advances in technology, or will the clock be rolled backwards and take us once again into the Age of Heroes? Let me know what you want to see in Fable 4 in the comments below. As always, I've been James with Fandom. Thank you for watching and enjoy the game.